As the old world's leaders fail, and the structures we once trusted crumble into dust, a new spiritual elite will rise. But their crown was not forged in gold. It was forged in the fires of their deepest, most painful wounds. Elite. It is a word that leaves a bitter taste. A word that speaks of privilege, of exclusion, of an unearned power held by the few over the many. The financial elite, who control the flow of currency. The political elite, who write the laws. The intellectual elite, who shape the narrative for centuries. These are the groups who have held the reins of our world. But now, their grip is failing. As the great planetary shift accelerates, a power vacuum is forming. A profound and terrifying void where the old answers no longer work. Where the old models of leadership have become obsolete. And in this void, a question rises in the hearts of millions. Who will lead us now? Who has the wisdom, the strength, the integrity to guide humanity through the chaos of collapse and into the dawn of the new earth? The intelligence declassified from Edgar Cayce's Akashic readings provides a stunning and deeply paradoxical answer. He saw the coming of a new aristocracy, not of blood, not of wealth, but of the soul. A group he referred to as a kind of spiritual nobility, the spiritual elite. But before you recoil from that word, you must understand. The subconscious, speaking through Cayce, was not describing the kind of elite we know. It was describing its perfect inversion. This briefing is a deep dive into that paradox. We will declassify the dossier on this mysterious group. First, we will expose the great deception by revealing who the spiritual elite are not. Then, we will decode the 4 pillars of mastery, the alchemical training that forges a member of this group. And finally, we will reveal the sacred mission, their true purpose in the coming age, and the litmus test for you to discover if you are being called to join their ranks. Prepare to have your entire definition of power turned upside down. To understand who they are, we must first aggressively discard our old 3D definitions of influence. The intelligence from the records is ruthless in its dismantling of our current leadership models. Let's begin with who they are not. They are not the political or financial elite. This is the most obvious but most important distinction. The leaders of the old world derived their power from external sources, from control. Control over resources, over information, over people. Their entire operating system was built on hierarchy, on competition, on secrecy. The subconscious explained that this model is an energetic dinosaur. It is completely incompatible with the rising frequencies of the new Earth. Why? Because the new Earth is a reality of transparency and unity. In a society that is becoming increasingly telepathic, you cannot lie. Secrets become impossible. In a reality of conscious manifestation, you cannot hoard resources, because abundance is created from within. The very tools of their power, the secrecy, the control, the manufactured scarcity, they will become useless artifacts. These figures will be left like kings without a kingdom, their influence evaporated, not in a bloody revolution, but in a quiet, collective turning away. Next, and this is a more subtle point, they are not necessarily the spiritual gurus or famous teachers of today. Many believe the leaders of the new earth will be the well-known authors, the popular channelers, the charismatic figures with millions of followers. And while many of these individuals are performing a vital service, acting as signposts and way showers, the subconscious was clear on one point. Being a brilliant teacher of spiritual information is not the same as being a master of spiritual energy. In one session, a client asked about a famous spiritual leader of the time. The subconscious replied, its voice cool and precise. The one who speaks of the mountain is not the same as the one who has climbed it. Many are the map makers. Few are the navigators. The leaders will not be the ones who have the most followers. They will be the ones who have the most resilience. Intellectual knowledge of spiritual concepts is not the qualification. Charisma is not the qualification. Popularity is not the qualification. And this leads us to the greatest deception of all. They are not the pure or sinless souls. This is the most deeply ingrained religious program we carry. The belief that the leaders of a golden age must be pristine, angelic beings who have never made a mistake. Souls who have lived lives of perfect, sheltered purity. Casey's work and the Akashic records themselves reveal the exact opposite to be true. The subconscious explained that a soul who has only experienced lifetimes of ease and light lacks a critical form of wisdom, a crucial form of compassion. They understand peace, but they do not understand the alchemical process of forging peace from the raw materials of chaos and conflict. They know love, but they do not know the gut-wrenching struggle of transforming hatred into love. In a sense, they are naive. They lack the antibodies that are only created by surviving the darkest plagues of the human experience. So if the leaders are not the rich, not the famous, and not the pure, then who are they? The answer is the most radical, empowering, and deeply validating revelation in the entire library of prophetic intelligence. The spiritual elite are not defined by what they have or what they know. They are defined by what they have overcome. They are not a group you are born into. They are a group you earn your way into through the lonely, agonizing fires of personal alchemy. Their qualification is not purity, it is mastery. Mastery over density. The dossier describes 4 pillars of this mastery, 4 trials by fire that forge a member of this sacred order. As I describe them, do not just listen with your mind, listen with your scars. The first pillar, mastery of dark energy transmutation. This is the core of their identity, the foundation of their crown. The spiritual elite are the souls who, on a pre-life level, volunteered for the hardest missions. They chose to incarnate into the most difficult, traumatic, and darkest circumstances imaginable on planet Earth. They did not do this because they were being punished. They did this because they were the most advanced. They were the spiritual special forces, the Navy SEALs of the soul, sent on the most dangerous assignments. They chose lives of profound loss, of chronic illness, of soul-crushing abuse, of addiction. They chose to be the scapegoats, the black sheep, the outcasts. Why? They were on a high-level alchemical mission. They were sent to dive into the deepest, densest pockets of human suffering and to learn, from the inside out, how to transmute that darkness into light. A person who has never known the depths of despair cannot truly guide another out of it. A soul who has never been broken by betrayal cannot authentically teach another how to trust again. The spiritual elite are the ones who have been to hell and have returned, not with a tourist visa, but as a former resident, And they did not just survive. They alchemized. They learned to build a ladder out of the very flames that were meant to consume them. Their power, their authority, there comes not from avoiding darkness, but from having looked it in the eye, embraced it without judgment, and transformed it.